everyone. Welcome back. So this is episode 4, The Penny Drops. Mallory's discovery that Jake is planning to leave Hudson forces her to re-examine the choices she has made. We know that Mallory has always tried to string Jake along. There were times when she was interested in him, and then times when she wasn't. You know, she has definitely been one of those women who plays with a guy's emotions. And when he kind of gave up, so to speak, and dated someone else, she wasn't happy about it. She was jealous because ultimately Mallory liked having a guy chasing after her. She may have said she didn't, she may have thought she didn't, but ultimately she did. Because otherwise, why would she have been jealous that he was dating her friend? And granted, she did like Badger, she did develop a crush on Jeremy, but you know, especially with teenagers, hormones are all over the place, you know, and I think you can like someone and date someone else, like multiple people, you know, that you can have a crush on someone or an attraction to them, but still be with your guy or girl. I think that can happen. You know, I think that happens as adults too, but it kind of all depends on how you act, you know? So for someone like Mallory, you know, she just kind of strung Jake along, and now, you know, he's making a decision for himself. And so as it says, she re-examines the choices. So it means she's going to re-examine how she has treated him, if she wants to go with him maybe. I did hear something about Mallory getting married, so there is going to be, I think, a wedding eventually. Don't know who that's to, so it'll be nice to find out. Hopefully it's Jake, but maybe not. But, you know, she's a teenage girl. She's confused. She doesn't know what she wants. And she doesn't really have to know. She's what, 16, 17? Anyways, let's get started.
I've got better ways to spend my time chase down sheep every time they come. Are you kidding me? The money we stand to make? What are we talking? $20 a head. Just give me a word.
Tim, you're the ones. But as always, Lou, you never listen.
Nicole, just wait. Don't even bother.
At the end of the last episode, we saw Mallory being disappointed, rightfully so, because she wanted the manager job there. Maggie's once they had saved it. And, you know, it was nice seeing her kind of walking around and, yeah, doing the managerial parts. And, you know, Lou doesn't think she's ready, and it's like, shouldn't Mallory be the one to make that decision? You know? And then, as I had commented in the last video, like, you're gonna give the manager job to a complete stranger whom you don't know, someone who could end up you know, being perfectly wrong for the job. Oh, not again. I love how Shiloh is spooked by the sheep. I love the thought that they have sheep, though. I do recognize Nicole. She was in that corporate Cowgirls episode, so it's nice to see her back. Yet she acted like that was her first time there. Maybe it was. Maybe it wasn't her. Um, because, you know, she said, you remember Nicole? And I'm thinking, well, maybe they've met in a different situation. I thought so. And now I'm going to have to go back and rewatch Corporate Cowgirls. Because, you know, she's acting like it's her first time there. And I'm like, well, maybe it is her first time there, but if she was there for Corporate Cowgirls for that episode, then it's not her first time there. Which, if you want, you can check out my reaction to the Corporate Cowgirls episode. I believe it is in season 2. Of course, it's available on both YouTube here and on Rumble. So check it out if you can. You may have to change your VPN, however. So Jake encouraged Mallory to act like a manager, but as he commented, something about travel, because I think he was hoping she would come with him to France, which is kind of juvenile in a way, because they're not dating. I know he's always had a thing for her, but at least according to Mallory, they're friends. And it kind of feels like he was wanting her to be, what, the Buckle Bunny or something, and like drop everything to go follow him to France, which does seem kind of shitty in a way, and a bit immature. But maybe I'm wrong. We'll find out.
Now, all makes my I'm capable of sitting without a doctor. You're not even a vet student. You're a vet student. So move. We're leaving. Come on. She swallowed a pin. There's only one way out.
Yeah.
Typewriter, emergency services concurred. If there's no obstruction, let me just take the course.
Yeah, Tim.
Thank you.
It's still the same. It's the same anatomy. She's like, I think Mallory's brain just went offline with that. You know, because she gave him that hug, and then, you know, she didn't pull away when he kissed her. Because, you know, much like the time that Chase kissed Amy, that second time when he did, she pulled back and slapped him. Obviously, it wasn't anything like that. You know, when he kissed Mallory, she kissed back and accepted it. So he said that about the date, and I'm thinking, date in Paris probably would be pretty good. Probably would be a pretty nice date. She would accept the pay cut though. Little shy little. He's like, ooh, food. You got me food. 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 Why is she asking Jack for permission to go? She's a big girl. She can make her own decision. She should be asking her parents. Because she's what, 16, 17? Is she even of legal age, or is it different in Canada? And I know she comes back. I know we see her again at some point. Because like I said, there's a wedding. So I know that isn't the end of Jessica Hamlin, but you know, this show, obviously, there's been a lot of people who come and go. One thing I like is that the main cast has stayed for most, if not all, the seasons. And I say most because of Graham Warnell. But, you know, Amber Marshall, Michelle Morgan, Sean Johnston, and I'm pretty sure Chris Potter have been in all 16 seasons. that's great. You know, that doesn't happen with very many shows. I know I've mentioned it before about Supernatural. The two leads on Supernatural stayed with the show for 15 years, which is unheard of. And I like that here with Heartland, but that's another example that the actors just love this show and love their work on the show, but they just continue to come back. And with any show, people move on, you know, like maybe they like what they're doing, maybe the execs make a decision that they don't want to keep them around. Maybe the actors, even though they like their role, you know, they want a chance to move on. I mean, there are reasons. Things happen for a reason. But one thing about Heartland's staying power is that the main cast has stayed. I don't know if the show would have gone on for 16 seasons without Amber Marshall or Michelle Morgan or even Sean Johnston. So when they kind of spooked us there at the beginning of season 7 and not shown Sean, I bet that freaked a lot of people out. Like, uh-oh. And some people were probably thinking, I might not be watching this anymore if they killed off Jack. And then, of course, Jack reappeared. So, but yeah, you know, that's one reason why it did so well. And again, a reason why Supernatural did so well, because the two main leads stuck around for all seasons. You get to know these characters, you identify with these characters, you love these characters, you know, you feel like you're part of their family. And then all of a sudden, if there's like a major change and one of them's gone, it's like, it really disrupts you and can disrupt your enjoyment of the show.
What's wrong with you?
I think she's on her way. She's probably
What happened to 2 weeks' notice?
does it. Oh hell, I'll wash dishes and serve paper. You just broke me.
You know what? Sounds like you really want to help and you can know about the news. After all,
They're gonna miss her. That was kind of Jessica Ainley's swan song, except, as I said, we do see her again. You know, that definitely felt like an ending. I do like how they were sitting there with the big sign, and she got to see, you know, she checked her phone and was disappointed because she hadn't gotten any texts or anything, because that's probably what she was expecting. And instead, they did that. But they did that awfully fast, you know, because they would have had to tack the horses, make the signs, ride to the location. So, and I'm kind of surprised that they didn't shout bye to Jack. Maybe they did. Maybe they shouted bye, but he didn't hear because he was working with Katie. But yeah, that definitely did feel like an ending, like a swan song, which that's the second time. I kind of feel like, even though it felt like an ending, it may not be. Like I said, I know we see her for an ending, for a wedding, but that aside, because they kind of tricked us, like at the end of season 5 or early season 6, I think it was the end of season 5, where she was moving to Nashville. And then she came back there in season 6 when she saw Georgie riding Copper. And what the hell is going to happen to Copper? I just thought of that. She's moving to France. What about Copper? What are they going to do about Copper? But then she was back. So it was kind of like fool me once, and now it's kind of like fool me twice, you know? So maybe she's not gone. You know, maybe she returns in 3 episodes and says, yeah, I hated it. But my big question is, did she even ask her parents? Maybe she did, and they said, yeah, but it seems like her parents would have something to say about her flying
halfway across the country for a boy. Especially when she's, 16, 17? That seems odd. That there was, no mention of parents. And like I said, nothing about Copper. Now, maybe they'll talk about it later. Just because she's going to France doesn't mean they still can't keep in touch. Because this would have been, let's see, season 7, this would have been, 2013, 14? We had social media and texting then. So, they definitely could have still been in touch, make email, stuff like that, and been like, hey, what do you want us to do about Copper? Because again, Copper was her horse. So I guess, are they going to sell Copper? Are they going to keep Copper? So I kind of feel like that part and the part with her parents weren't explained. And maybe they will be. Maybe we'll find out here in the next episode. But it just seems kind of unrealistic that she would drop everything and fly to France for a movie. Especially with how young she is. But at the same time, Mallory did want a different life option. She thought she wanted the job at Maggie's until she saw just how difficult it was to be manager. And then she realized no. And then, of course, when Jake mentioned that he wanted her to go with, she started thinking about things. So that definitely was a swan song. And so I wish Mallory the best. At least until we see her again. But I wish Mallory the best. I did like Mallory. And as I said in the beginning, she seemed, of course, like that annoying kid they never paid attention to. But they obviously all did care about her. Hence why they put those signs up wishing her goodbye. And Lou was talking about that job to her friend Nicole. So hopefully we'll see Nicole around, now that Maggie's is back in business. And then, the whole thing about Maggie's and going up for sale because Maggie moved to London to be with Soraya. So it's kind of like, and again, as I said, that happens with TV shows. Some characters come and some characters go. And so, they kind of wrote Soraya out as going to London, also kind of chasing after a guy. And then Maggie decided to join him. And now we have Mallory kind of chasing after Jake. But Mallory's in France where Lisa is, so I'm sure that they will run into each other. And hey, there's an excuse for Jack to go back. Or the others. But I don't know. I liked that episode, but because there were some questions left unanswered, I'm kind of like, I didn't like it as much as I could have because of those unanswered questions. And maybe they get answered coming up. I mean, I've liked every episode so far. So, thank you for joining me for episode 4 of season 7 of Heartland. I can't believe we're at season 7 already. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Are you sad that Mallory is gone? Are you happy? Did you like her? Did you dislike her? Did you like the thought of her with Jake? Do you not like the thought of her with Jake? I'd love to, hear some thoughts or about anything that happened in the episode. If you can, support me on Buy Me a Coffee. The link is in the description. And the other link that's in the description is to my editor, Captain Factory. Thank you so much for all of your hard work. If you need someone for your editing needs, please click on that link and talk to her because she is fabulous. She's the one who does, of course, the intro and the outro, does all the cuts. A lot of cuts for this episode because of some technical issues. She is excellent and you may want to talk to her. So click on her link in the description. I will see you next time. Bye.